we're going to kick off this morning because every time I say something, I see you, Lord. It always matches up. So we're going to start off this morning with Jesus every day. Now, y'all pay attention. This is called Praise from God. Comes from John chapter 12, verse 43. They loved human praise more than the praise of God. Inside each of us is a desire to be accepted. Very few people want to have the world or their family against them. People in Jesus' day were no different. The Bible tells us that many of them believed in Jesus, including some of the Jewish leaders. But they wouldn't admit it for fear that the Pharisees would expel them from the synagogue. The Pharisees were self-righteous fundamentalists, not unlike the fathers of today's ultra-orthodox, Hasidic Jews. They were held in such high regard that the people tried hard to gain their approval. When Jesus began preaching, many rejected him, but some Jews, even some among leaders, put their trust in him. The Pharisees, however, considered Jesus a heretic and a blasphemer. So sadly, many who believed in Christ would not openly acknowledge their faith for fear they would be expelled from the synagogue. For a Jew, that was like being sent into no man's land. These secret believers weren't willing to go against the flow of popular opinion. They weren't committed enough to Jesus to risk alienation from the religious establishment. They hadn't understood that if they accepted Jesus, they wouldn't need the Jews' or non-Jews' approval for anything. They would have Jesus. That's all that mattered. What was at the bottom of their fear? They loved human praise more than the praise of God. But Jesus warned his followers about this. If you want to be my disciple, you must, by comparison, hate everyone else, your father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even your own life. Otherwise, you cannot be my disciple. That comes from Luke chapter 14, verse 26. In America today, we are surrounded by an anti-God culture. We are constantly tempted to keep our identity as believers hidden for the fear that people will think, what, you're a Christian? One of those narrow-minded, judgmental bigots? We know deep down that we don't fit in with the crowd around us. One of the reasons I wasn't a strong Christian in college was that I wanted to fit in. I was in New England, not exactly the Bible Belt. I was fairly well known on campus because of my basketball playing. And I was afraid of hearing someone say, oh, you're one of those holy rollers. Too many of us care about getting likes on social media than about receiving God's approval. Instead of saying I will follow Jesus no matter what, we wonder how we can please our friends or family. But when we base our actions on the approval of others, we lose praise from the one who matters the most. Imagine Christ gives praise to those who stay